guys, what's going on? It's Ash here coming at you today in Raid Shadow Legends. As you can see, I am so excited right now because Skratch AK47 was one of the first YouTubers that I checked out when I started playing Raid Shadow Legends, and now he's live here on the channel. Skratch, what's up, man? How you doing?
Yo, what's up, man? Doing pretty good. Glad to be here with you guys.
Yeah,
doing
dude.
Pretty good, yeah.
Glad to have the expert on, man, because today we have a really fun topic. I should give you a big channel shout out first. Anybody who has not watched Skratch Raid content, you need to go check him out. The download link. What? This is not a sponsored ad. The channel link will be in the description below for you guys. So we are gonna go through every faction and do something we've never done before here on the channel, and we're gonna give our opinions on the best and the worst, like most in need of a buff, legendary, non-void in every single faction. We'll do the void legendaries on Skratch's channel hopefully next week, so stay tuned for that. Skratch, you ready, man?
Absolutely.
Just out of curiosity, what's your favorite faction? Do you have one?
Oh man, so hard to decide. Probably will have to be an undead, honestly.
Yeah, I think that's
It's
probably
just
a popular choice.
so powerful, so powerful.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what I would go with for a favorite, but I think, yeah, undead's it's tough to not go undead. You're right. I don't know. I think that demon spawn's pretty cool too. But anyway,
I was gonna say design-wise, definitely demon spawns design-wise.
All right, so let's start undead then. Might as well, right? We'll go kind of a little bit out of order here. So why don't you? We've done not a ton of research before this. We're just chatting, but why don't you go ahead and start it off, man, with your best legendary and undead hordes? And again, it's hard to compare these champions. But if this was a draft, you know. Pick your who would your top pick be?
So at the moment, I have pretty much all the OP champions in this faction, but I'm in between Siphi and Necret, right? So I am using Necret a ton in arena.
Non-void.
Oh shit, bro! Sorry, my bad. I went straight for those ones. They were just looking at me. They were just looking at me, bro.
Now they don't need to watch your the YouTube video on your channel. All right,
we can cut that off, right? Yeah, we can edit. We can edit it off.
All right.
So my best, right?
Yeah. Who's your best?
So my best non-void legendary from the Undead is probably Balthazar. So he was the second champion I put my eyes on when I started the game. Like design looks, I was like, damn, he looks badass. I really want to get the champion. But then the cherry on top is all the skills he does. So I've been using him in mainly all my dungeons. He actually helped me to beat some of the stage 20 dungeons when I was grinding the game. The way I pull the champion, like I love everything about him, honestly. So he's a super powerful champion, boosting the damage, cleansing, healing. So the aura, I don't know, I love everything about him, honestly. He's a very strong champion.
I gotta ask, do you use him on any of your teams right now? Because I know like you have your super end game. Do you use him now or no?
Absolutely. I use him in a World Record Clan Boss team. I use him in a Spider to boost the damage a bit on
nice
on Septimus. But yeah, I am running him even now, yeah.
Okay, cool. And do you want to give your worst too, or should we alternate?
My worst, we can if you like, or if you want to give your worst.
Give your worst. We'll go.
My worst will be probably Creep King Graal.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's literally the first one, the magic one. But honestly, I think he really needs a proper buff compared with the rest of the champions here.
Yeah, I think this is one we're going to agree on here on the worst. Yeah, man. Like, it's pretty bad, right? Elemental,
definitely.
You have Crypt King?
I do. I have like 3 or 4 of them, yeah.
Does this Elemental Unity hit hard or no?
I haven't 6-star one yet because his kit is just not.
I'm guessing it doesn't. It places a freeze debuff on the target for 1 turn if they are under HP burn. Ah, man, I hate abilities like that, dude. And then 3 times at random, at least make it an AoE, right? How would you buff him?
Yeah. I would definitely make AoE that, and his AI at the moment is pretty bad. I don't think they fixed that, but that needs to go AoE and 100% chance to place HP burn. Like, is that even a serious skill? 3 times at random, 50% chance, fully booked 75 on a legendary champion, right? Yeah, like it's really bad.
Yeah, his base stats are not that bad. I guess speed, but like even his base attack is pretty low, so he's just a debuffer clearly. But man, or support champion, I guess. But yeah, I'm going to agree with you there. Oh man, it's hard not to go back. I'm also gonna go with Crypt King on my worst. It's hard not to go with there's so many good options here, man. There's so many good options. I'm gonna go ahead and go with probably Mashal and Battle are both so tempting, but I'm actually gonna go with Nethril. I think that Nethril is a super, super cool champion, and everybody thinks about him, and they think Clan Boss because he's A1 on counterattack with all those poisons. But man, his A2 and his A3 are sick as well, right? He has the 75% chance stun and decreased speed if they don't go under stun on the A2. Then he has the incredible Bat Swarm turn meter 75% on a 4-turn. I think that the only bad thing about him is his speed, but overall, I think he's a real like S-tier champion.
Absolutely, he's a very strong champion. Good multipliers. Decrease speed, turn meter, poisons. Like, he's good in the Fire Knight, good in the Spider, good in Arena, good in Clan Boss. So he's absolutely a top champion for this faction. Unfortunately, I'm still missing this champion, but one day.
Oh, okay, all right. Not trying to rub it in there, man. All right,
that's fine.
So we'll go with we'll go with Demon Spawn, since that was what I said was my favorite faction at least. So do you want to kick things off again? Go with your favorite. I think we all know who the favorite. This is an easy favorite, I think. Maybe.
So I'm gonna go with favorite rather than the best out of it, right?
Like, if you had to draft one, that's it. You're starting a new account, you could have any legendary in Demon Spawn.
Then I'll definitely go with Duchess. Absolutely,
yes.
No doubt on it.
Why do you love Duchess?
Duchess, she's just such a great carry overall. If you're talking about Clan Boss, Dungeons, Arena, Doom Tower, Faction Wars, like, there is no content in the game where she doesn't excel. The damage reduction she has in the skill is so unique with a Veil, making her the best defense champion for Arena in the entire game. She has 0 competitors in that department. Clan Boss as well, she's pretty great on a 2-to-1 ratio team or any sort of team where you can fit her in. The Veil reduction, speed aura, everything is just perfect about her. Base stats, is honestly 0 complaint about her. And not to say about the looks as well. Like, when I've seen that they're releasing this champion was her and Tyrant, I know I messaged a buddy of mine and I said, man, the game is getting dope. These champions, they're gonna be amazing.
Yep. Yeah, I agree 100%. I was late to the, I had to clear Demon Spawn Faction Wars without Duchess, and it was a pain to do so. But yeah, Duchess is, I would agree, is the best overall. You were gonna say something as like your second choice though. I wonder if it's mine.
Kymar. Kymar.
I was gonna go with Kymar as my choice because I figured you picked Duchess. So if we're going draft style, I won't do any more repeats like we did in the first round there. So yeah, I agree. Kymar, amazing for the Arena, especially if you need a speed lead. And kind of opening into the Abyssal Gaze is nice to do as well if you have like single target damage dealers. But of course, for speed runs, for poison, Seal of Magic, the most unique ability probably in the game, or certainly close to.
Absolutely.
Yeah. He's a beast. He was my first legendary in my free-to-play, too. No big deal.
Oh, wow. I just got him this weekend after 2 years.
Oh. Congrats.
The hype was insane, yeah?
Yeah, dude. Who's the worst here? Who you going worst?
So the worst here, it is pretty hard, honestly, to pick it. Now,
oh, I don't think so.
It's kind of hard to pick the worst champion from this faction. I don't even know, honestly, which one to tell you. So I'm in between Dragstar and more to Macab. So Dragstar is great for progression, for Spider sort of situation. More to Macab, he's not so great, honestly. So probably I would go with him as the worst out of all of them.
Yeah, I would tend to agree he was going to be my choice. I just think that Peril, I almost feel like Peril just needs to be like on a 5-turn cooldown or something to make him Arena viable. Do you think he would be broken if that was the case, or?
Probably not. I mean, it's a 5-turn cooldown. A lot of other champions, they insta-block
yeah,
revive.
It's an instant kill ability. Like, so a lot of champions have an instant kill type ability. So yeah, I think that's my biggest thing with him is, would you do the same, like to buff him?
Yeah, I think that would be the main issue. Like, he has pretty good base stats as well. I would probably up a bit his speed, considering that we want to use him mainly in Arena as the way he is, you know. But the main thing will be his passive. I would definitely make that a thing rather than just a 20% chance, you know.
You're in Platinum tier Arena more than I am, but you do see him very, very occasionally in Platinum, I guess in a shield set with, you know, kind of hoping to unlock Peril on a defensive team.
You see some of them, but mainly are just people trying to play smart and trolling. Yeah, exactly, to be different, yeah.
I got you. All right, so I'm going to go with... man, I really like this champion, but I actually like Dragstar more than you do. I think that with Doom Tower now, I feel like he's he's definitely helping a lot of people out. And I'm going to go with Lord Shazar. I think that bomb champions overall, probably a reoccurring theme for me in this video. I think bomb champions overall need a buff. I think bomb needs a small buff because there's so many great AoE nukers in the game that what great uses a bomb nowadays, and poison is better overall, and we're just seeing it as like really a forgotten debuff for the most part. I don't know if bomb's ever been meta. It doesn't feel like it has been to me.
Honestly, no, never.
Yeah.
I've been playing since the beta, but bombs, they've always been pretty bad, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that bombs need a buff. Maybe just a damage, but maybe they do even more damage. I have no idea what would the best buff be to bombs, but I think Lord Shazar has a lot of potential. He has the fastest speed arena aura in the game, which is really great to have. His multipliers are not that bad. Not a bad champion. Grants an extra turn, which is like reduces the cooldown of all his other skills, obviously on the A2. So I think he's a decent champion, but I'm curious, like, do you think, are you high on this guy? Are you low on him? What do you think?
I'm in between. Like, he can definitely deal some damage. You can definitely have some uses of him, but honestly, he's just so left behind, how you said, with the bomb debuff, which is pretty useless. Like, nobody really uses him, honestly. So I literally have him just as a power creep in my vault. That's about it. I haven't used him in ages, not even for faction wars, even though he might be good there to deal some damage, but rather than that, I wouldn't really go for it, you know. He wouldn't be a pick for me.
I agree. Okay, so moving on. Shadowkin, obviously, we're not going to do because all the champions are brand new, but do you have like a favorite of these three legendaries?
The fusion, actually. I see the highest potential in the fusion. Either if you're talking about progression, endgame arena, endgame content overall, he's a pretty strong champion, increased accuracy and attack at the same time, CCing at the same time, debuffing with True Fear, which is a very powerful debuff, and then on top of it you have an increased speed aura, and his passive being able to help you cut on the enemy team in a arena to give you a bit of advantage if you're not that fast to be able to wreck the enemy team, you know.
Yeah, a lot of people are going to be unlocking him because of the fragment, fusion thing or whatever. So fragment summon, there we go. So would you see building this dude for arena? If people want to use him for the arena, do you just build him fast, and not really care about much else?
So
or with accuracy?
I would give him some accuracy. So
obviously,
at the point where I am, I would probably build him, I would say, immunity gear, around 270, 280 speed. Try to land as much accuracy as possible. So he's gonna buff speed, buff attack, and then debuff. So he's already gonna, not buff speed, sorry, attack and accuracy. And then he's gonna debuff. So if you already have 400 accuracy on him, he's gonna buff that accuracy by 50%.
Yeah.
So he's gonna take it up to 600. As an example, I'm talking big numbers because that's how I'm used to, but with things for arena, but I would give him as much accuracy as possible.
Okay. I love that build, and I think I'm going to be doing the same thing. I'm going to test him out in arena, see how he does. But very cool champion. I agree with you. I think that maybe just because he's not the fragment summon champion and you want what you can't have, but Genzin here, it seems really cool to me. I think you've done a guide on him. What do you think of him?
So I kind of like the looks on both of the other champions. I feel like they look much better than Yoshi, but overall for progression, a lot of people think that they might be better, but honestly they aren't. Like, Genzin is dealing some damage, AoE defense down. We have so many champions, even rare champions that you get free from campaign doing that. And the other one is just a single target defense down and weaken. A lot of other champions can do that as well. So overall, they are pretty unique in their own way. Love the animations and stuff, but I feel like they're just left behind compared to Yoshi in their true potential towards mid-game, early game, end game players, you know, to actually help out your account, to bring something different, unique, you know.
Yeah, sounds good, man. I love that you love Yoshi. It's rare that we get a fragment summon being the best champion in any category, so that's cool to see. So let's move over to Dwarves right next door here. I'll go first this time. I think that the best, if I was going to choose one, I mean, maybe some people might argue that it is close between Trunda and Molly, but I'll go Trunda, and I don't think it's that close. I think that having the best nuker in the game, especially for arena nuker in the game, is great. I mean, in the end game, Trunda is an amazing nuker for the arena, and in everywhere else, the mid game and earlier, she's great for progression. She's great for a spider. She's with HP burn and the stun as well, and you know, both her A2 and her A3 hit like an absolute truck. So I go Trunda. So that's my fave. Who's your fave?
Absolutely, I have to agree with you. She's like the most used champion that I have in the game, honestly.
Yeah. Okay.
Hands down.
Where do you use her outside of, like, where do you use her on any of your main teams outside of arena at this
just
point?
faction wars, click auto, let it rumble, but mainly arena. I have zero accuracy on her, just like the Great Hall.
Yeah, that great hall. The one time you don't want it, right, is on your Trunda.
Exactly. Well, it's fine because you're fighting resistance team overall. Like all of them, they have the Great Hall near max towards
so true
gold and platinum arena, so it's fine there. But she's such a beast when you're talking about damage. I don't want her nerfed at all, honestly, because arena needs more nukers, stronger nukers. So I really hope they're gonna buff some other nukers to bring them at her level.
Okay, yeah, I agree with you, and 100%. I would like to see more buffs than nerfs on this, especially this next rebalance. I was gonna say Molly's like kind of up there for progression and stuff, but I just can't put her in the same category as Trunda personally. But my pick for the worst would be, so I don't have Samar Gem Cursed, but I hear bad things about him. So have you tried this, dude?
I haven't personally. We will have to agree on this faction completely by the looks of it. But I haven't played him myself. I heard from a lot of endgame players they're not very happy with it. So at most what they're saying is he can slow down an enemy team to beat your defense by 20-30 seconds. But rather than that, he doesn't seem to offer much towards progression. Like thinking to build him on a shield set similar with Mountain King with his brother then next to him, he just doesn't seem to hit as hard to actually bring you that much utility overall for any sort of account, no matter where you are in the game, you know?
Yeah, I hate champions like that. At least have one, because Mountain King, you could say he's not a great champion either, but for arena, he's great. In a shield set, like very niche, but very effective in that one role, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. So we agree there on the dwarves. Not that many options, so we'll keep it moving here. Let's just go kind of backwards and go with a Knight Revenant here.
Knight Revenants, right?
Yes, yes. So if I was going to pick one, there's only 4 options here, and I think I would go with Tomb Lord. Do you agree?
Absolutely, he's the best in this faction.
Yeah, I think there's not
by far.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not really close, is it? So I mean, do you use Tomb Lord? I used to. I don't use him anymore, but he's right on the cusp, right, for Doom Tower. I guess I could, but.
So again, I don't have Tomb Lord. I've been trying to get him for.
It was at this moment that he knew.
But it just doesn't want to drop. So from this faction, I actually had Wurlim. I unlocked Biceptus recently, but before that, I had none from this faction, which I know it sounds pretty strange. Of course, I have Thea, the Vault Angel here from the Doom Tower, I would have to go and say she's my biggest disappointment, and I would call her the worst out of this faction, even though I know Biceptus is worst. But for the amount of trouble you gotta go to be able to get Thea, the Tomb Angel, and the quality she brings as a legendary is just horrible, honestly. So I gotta say that she is the worst, in my opinion, from this faction. Even though I know Biceptus, in legal terms, is worse than her, I still have to say that she's the worst. Because I'm so disappointed with her, you know.
Yeah, I'm just missing Hegemon from here. The one champion you don't want to be missing from Knight Revenant. But I agree completely with the best and the worst here as well. I mean, Thea, you hit the nail on the head, dude. Like, there were such high hopes that this ability, Hex Reaper, which, you know, if you do have all the hexes up there, it does hit super hard, but it's really tough to land that many, and it doesn't hit, I don't know, as hard as like another really good nuker would on their big strong, like Abyss or whatever, on a typical AoE on Divine Wrath or something. So I don't know, man. What would you do to fix her? She needs to be fixed, because this champion should not suck, man.
No, not at all. So what I would do to fix her is AoE hex or the random times, whatever, let it go like that, but give her an extra turn instant, so then she can come in and nuke get her nuke up with the big numbers. It's so hard to set her up. Like literally I had to run her with Vizier with the debuff spread, ally attack champion to make her get that turn up, put attack up, put defense down. Like, man, it's been such a hassle to get her to throw out big numbers, and it's just not realistic to use her like that. You will not use her like that anywhere in the game because you won't have that comfort, that luxury to do it, you know.
Yeah, no, 100%. So we're both on the same page with Thea. Very, very disappointing, unfortunately. All right, Dark Elves time. Who is your favorite?
So my favorite out of the Dark Elves, and I'm gonna say it was the biggest carry for me in the game, and it's Xayvia. So even some people might disagree.
Only one I don't have.
My dude, she was my she was my third legendary. My first was a Norog. My second was War Mother, which I never 6-star even today. But Xayvia, on the other hand, when I got her, I really wanted her. She was so strong in clan boss at that moment. We didn't have many poisoners in the game. Like was Xayvia and Coldheart for clan boss at that point. Everyone was going crazy with those two. And when I got Xayvia, I can tell you, she carried me in the Fire Knight, in the Spider up to stage 19. She was soloing the Dragon 20 for me. Like, was absolutely insane how powerful she is. And great for progression and everywhere around. If you pair her with a good support next to her as well, to keep her alive when she has problems. But lifesteal gear works on her with the AoE attacks is amazing.
Yeah, she's definitely she's gotta be my most wanted non-void legendary champion of the game. If there's ever a 10-time event for her, you can bet your bottom dollar I'm gonna have rage pulling video released on that one. So as somebody who doesn't own Xayvia, why don't you tell us why she's so amazing? Like, obviously, you talked about all the areas that you use her, but you know how it is when you pull a champion and build them and try them, you have like that intimate feel for like, this is why they're the best. Is it just the sheer damage because of Deadly Catalyst that makes her?
That's one thing as well, but just the possibility for her to be able to do everything in the game, right? Like, she does drop you the poisons on clan boss, AoE attacks to actually help you kill the waves faster and just kill the waves. And the catalyst is such a unique as well. Like, I was able to actually take in another few poison champions in the Spider, for example, to be able to beat it. It was so hard to beat Spider 19 when it came out, honestly. Was extremely, extremely hard. And of course, before we had only up to level 15, the dungeons, which I managed to get them up in order, but then the higher stages came and it was pretty hard. And I think her skills were pretty good with the poisons to help, especially on a Dragon, Spider, Fire Knight.
Yeah, definitely.
Multiple hits. She has pretty much everything that she needs to be in the game, except the Ice Golem.
Okay, agreed. Very, very jealous right now. Let's move it on. I think my fave is going to be, I don't have like an absolute favorite in Dark Elves. There's none that just jump out at me. There's a few that really catch my eye, I guess, like Lanicus, Foley, and Ghostborn. So I guess I'm going to go with Ghostborn. I know that most people would probably say Ray, but I'm going to go Ghostborn. I just think that he's very unique. His A2 and his A3 hit pretty hard too, which is nice to have. His stats are like all around pretty solid. And of course, Ancestral Spirits being the main focal point that is unresistible, right? I mean, that's such a unique ability. There's no ability in the game like it. And I think that alone makes him, noteworthy. And a champion that honestly I had in my vault for a while, or I just didn't build him. I remember like messaging like other YouTubers and being like, should I build this champion? And everybody's like, I don't know. But it's nice to have somebody who accuracy doesn't matter,
Absolutely. I still don't have this champion, so it seems like we seem to match here.
Yeah, right.
I'm telling you what you don't have, you're telling me what I don't have. But Ghostborn is very unique, is a very powerful champion. Decrease defense down, unresistible, and boosting attack up at the same time. Is no other champion in the game to do that.
Yeah, I mean, going into like there's times, I'm sure you maybe have done this too, but like I've accidentally attacked into a Ghostborn team in the arena and be like, oh crap, like with a resist team or something, and be like, oh crap, it doesn't matter, So
game
anyway,
over.
Yeah, game over. So my worst here, I think we might agree on this one too, but I think Astrolith, again sticking with the bomb theme as I mentioned, is a really, really weak champion. I mean,
absolutely,
2 bombs on a 4-turn cooldown. Are you serious? Like, that's really bad.
She literally has no place in the entire game. I know she has the 28% increased speed aura. She exchanges remaining HP levels with the enemy. But Man, she's so bad, honestly. Like, I tried to use her to make some crazy stuff video with her and Vizier, debuff spread on the bombs, but she's bugged as well. She only lands a bomb sometimes. Sometimes she lands 2, sometimes she lands 1.
Oh,
so
man.
It's just not fun at all. And she has no place. Like, Queen Eva, at least she can be a campaign farmer.
Yeah.
On super bad stats, on level 50, she can actually farm campaign. So at least it can help you somewhere in the game if you get her early on. It's not such a big disappointment, like, damn, I didn't got a strong champion. But Astrolon, man, she is just awful. She really needs to be reworked in the next time when they're doing reworks, because she's awful.
Oh, 100%, man. It's really bad. So that's Astrolith. We agreed there. All right, moving along here. Let's go to the top 8 factions. Let's just go backwards. Going with orcs first. So who is your favorite orc legendary? This is an interesting one. I don't think there's a clear choice necessarily.
So it has to be Krella here.
Okay. Okay, she would be my guess for you, but or my guess, but yeah. Why do you love her?
I'm honestly in between her and Iron Brago. They're both great for progression. They both came as fusions as well, so I'm glad that they actually do some proper fusions as well. So she's super great for progression. A lot of people are missing counterattack champions, right? So ally attack is the best thing after counterattack. I do feel like counterattack is a bit getting expired, to say like this. Like Valkyrie, she's at the top there, but if you're getting Skull Crusher or you're getting Martyr, they are pretty good for progression, like Martyr. Mm-hmm. But rather than that, when you start reaching towards Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss, you're gonna find that counterattack champions, they don't matter as much unless it's Valkyrie.
Yeah, no, honestly, I agree. In the end game, it'd be cool though if one of these new Doom Tower bosses required counterattack and they added a couple new counterattack champions, like a fusion or something like that, you know? Like, bring it back to the game. Same thing with Bomb. Like, if they made these new champions susceptible to these sort of abilities that we're saying are lacking right now, it'd be kind of cool, provided they allowed, or provided they brought in some more champions with them that are accessible. Anyway, I agree. She's a really good champion. So, yeah, she has the stun and the ally attack. She has an increased attack and an increased crit rate. Do you use her on any of your teams right now?
At the moment, just faction wars, but she hits super hard as well. So time to time, I'm doing some different clan boss teams. I'm always throwing her in that. If I'm not using defensive champions, so I can make a use of that increased attack, she's the number 1 champ to go. I would use her over a counter attack any day in those sort of teams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. I think it's a great choice there. No one in the world at the time of this recording has Gomlock Skyhide, so no real opinions on him. And I heard that a lot of people were kind of disappointed in King Garrosh or whatever, Garrosh. Were you one of them?
Yeah. I'm actually calling him Princess Garrosh.
Okay. Is he gonna be your worst or no?
Probably. Yeah.
All right. Might as well just talk about him now. Then I mean, everybody seemed to be so disappointed on his multipliers, essentially. Is that you as well?
Yes, exactly. So I know they kind of tried to make a different approach towards this champion. Like, he actually needs to do things to get things from his passive, stack crit damage, stack increase attack. But honestly, that's just not the way arena works in this game. It's not the way dungeons work in this game. You might get a couple of turns here and there, but it's just wrong the way they made it. And it's per round as well, so it's not really usable in dungeons, in faction wars. He doesn't bring utility, low multipliers, so I actually find what's her name, Telagoremane, better than him. I actually can find a use for Telagoremane with the HP burn and the leech, but I cannot find a use for him anywhere in the game.
Interesting. Okay, well, I will choose Tila myself. She was gonna be my choice, so I'll stick with it, even though you just gave her a nice little praise. I think that, very slow champion, like an OG champion who just with power creep in this game just doesn't do it anymore. A 4-turn HP burn on one enemy. Granted, it does have a continuous heal, but it's a 4-turn. I don't know. An AoE leech and heal reduction is not the worst in the game, but again, on a 4-turn cooldown, I think that she also deserves a buff. And what does she have? Resist all battles by 35. Wow, yay. So yeah, I would just like to see a buff on this. Maybe even, I don't know. How would you buff her?
So I would definitely decrease the cooldown from 4 turns to 3 turns.
Yeah.
two turns on both of the skills. I would probably move heal reduction from her kit completely because it just doesn't match her at all. Increase her speed, so like that I make her viable for clan boss, you know. So if I change that heal reduction, keep the leech, keep the HP burn, still random buff, still the attack from clan boss, boost the speed a bit, I think she will be a pretty good champion for a leech for clan boss, for example, to replace lifesteal gear, especially for progression when you don't really have the lifesteal gear to be able to wreck the clan boss, you know.
Yeah, that's 100% a good point. Make her a clan boss champion, if nothing else. Give people a reason to kind of build her out. I guess for my favorite, well, you kind of picked two there, so I'm going to go with one of yours as well. And I'm actually also a big fan of Iron Brago as well. And I guess you technically went with Corella. So I'm going to go Iron Brago. I just built him. Like I picked him up a while ago, but I didn't really invest in him. And I'm a big fan. I mean, the increased defense, the stun, damage based on defense, 3-turn cooldown, like all of his abilities, fearless charge, an amazing ability, and then having the provoke. I just think that all around, he's a really, really solid champion. Tough to kill with high defense. I see a lot of people using him in like Gold 4 Arena too, so just kind of using him basically everywhere in the game. And to your point earlier, I think it's really cool that they're adding better caliber of champions. With all due respect to, I guess, Pixnail being the last really bad champion that we got infusions and fragment summons lately. So Skinwalkers, there's not a lot to choose from here as well. Who is your favorite?
My favorite from the Skinwalkers will probably have to be Brachus.
Okay, all right. So why do you love Brachus, and where do you use him?
Man, he just looks awesome. I gotta say that. He looks amazing. And then he has his crazy hits, six time hits on a skill, right? Like the animation is just insane when you see it as well, going ham on the enemy, boosting attack up, landing fear through fear, landing weaken, healing itself from his own abilities, then reviving with his passive. I think he's just dope overall. He's like decent for arena if you don't have many other champions. He can hit super hard. Great for clan boss as raw damage. Great for Fire Knight. He's just a great champion overall. Not to say for the faction wars, he can solo the boss on stage 21. So he's amazing.
Yeah. Do you think that he is the best sheer damage champion in the game?
He's definitely one of the top, yeah.
Yeah. Full Moon Rampage, you're totally right. Just seeing him attack 6 times in a row is like, dude, he's just gonna, especially in the arena, like, yeah, he's just gonna kill me no matter what. Because it seems like he's never ending until he does. And having him, I don't know if you've tried him in Swift Parry, but really cool to like have him come back and just hard to kill this dude, you know?
Absolutely, yeah.
So I was gonna go Brachus as well, but I'm actually gonna go with a champion. I'm going to go with a champion that I don't have, and that's Longbeard. I think he's a really, really cool ally attacked. Increase the damage inflicted by 20% for the full 5 allies, or him and 4 allies. I guess I'm just kind of jealous of the Longbeard teams in the arena sometimes. So I think if I could choose one, I'd probably go with him. Although, really, Norog is pretty cool for progression as well. The best defense dungeon or in the game, I think, at 40%. So
that's true, yeah.
Honorable mention there. Who would you buff? I mean, I feel like now Warchief is, with Doom Tower actually has a use on Magma Dragon, but who would you go with?
I would still buff Warchief because rather than to... I feel like a champion that's good only in one thing, like how is the Doom Tower? Like it's been 2 years since we have Warchief in the game, and then the Doom Tower comes out. He's just not making it to be good only for that particular boss, right? Like if at least he would have some different sort of uses, then I would look different towards him. I don't have him myself. I'm not looking forward to get him, honestly. So I hope they will give him some sort of buff, like put that provoke AoE, like at least that, right?
I agree with you 100% on the, I mean, it is a 3-turn cooldown, which is nice, but that's it, is that a legendary? Just having 2 provokes in your kit, basically? Nah. I agree with you, because I think the other kind of, I mean, people love Hacker and Smashlord. I'm not the biggest fan of him. Not that I'm a hater. I think it's a nice cleanse champion, a unique champion, a good champion. I don't think he needs a buff. I'm just not like the biggest fan of him. But Warchief, definitely, I can make the case and does need a buff. So I agree with you on Warchief. And I know everybody's going to be mad that I dissed Hackhorn Smashlord because it feels like everybody loves this dude. Do you like Hackhorn?
Man, he's good, but I'm gonna go on Sky Touch Shaman 10 times any day over him, yeah.
Yeah. Sky Touch is so nasty. I agree with you there. All right, Lizard Men. We might agree on this one too, but
I think we will. I think we will agree on all of them here, probably.
Yeah.
Definitely Draco, the strongest champion. He's just like no one else. Like I don't think we even need to say it. Everybody knows it. Draco is an absolute beast.
Draco, because he's a god. All right, I agree. Like, how am I gonna pick anybody else? But so who would you give a buff to here?
So I'm in between a bit. Like I haven't fused Skullord. This is one of the fusions I skipped because
I skipped him too. Yeah.
I just said I'm gonna pull this trash at some point.
What do I have to do to make you see?
But he do need some sort of buff. I know you can find a bit of a use for him, and then Roxanne looks dope, his new champion, but at least Roxanne will bring you a bit of more utility than Skullord. So I do have to say I would actually change him a bit, like decrease the cooldown of that decrease attack, maybe add something like a decreased defense, make him similar with Stag Knight, and that strength and provoke on one enemy. I would definitely try to make it at least on 2 enemies rather than 1 if it's not AoE,
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. I think that I skipped him too. I mean, it is noteworthy that he has like some of the best base stats in the game, but like when you put the best base stats in the game on a champion who's otherwise very underwhelming, like I don't know, what does that really mean, So I agree with you there. I think that Roxanne I built out and I was underwhelmed, but he's not like, for progression, he's not trash, he's serviceable. And Vergamkar got so much hate, because another kind of underwhelming champion. I guess I would give it to Vergamkar, even though I actually think he's better than people give him credit for, He's on his E2 alone. It's increased defense on a 3-turn cooldown with a shield. I mean, on a 3-turn cooldown, like that's good, but I just feel like people expected better, But
I think so. Yeah, they had higher. He's a pretty decent champion, honestly.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. Here I am, like, I think Fushan's really, really good. So I'm gonna go with Skullord as well. All right, moving right along here, all the way to Ogryn. Who is your fave?
My favorite is gonna have to be Bigan. So I actually pulled him in the same temple with Badal Khazar. So they kind of sorted the dungeons I know, and was no 2x at that point, right?
Wow.
So it was just a normal pull. But I would have to say Bigan is a very, very strong champion here.
Yeah, 3 AoEs, has the stun, decreased accuracy, decreased speed with that amazing turn meter on Molten Slag. I agree. He was my first legendary pull on this account, on my main account. So he has them all. Yeah. Good. Yeah. Okay, I will go. It was kind of a toss-up for me, so I'm gonna go Ignatius because I actually pulled him a lot later in the game. But boy, is he a beast, and I use him obviously against the ice spider or whatever her name is. But with AoE provoke and the HP burn AoE, it's really nice to have that on a defensive based champion who deals a lot of damage, especially with the HP burn dealing so much damage as well. So, and the stun on the A1, I think they're just a really, really solid champion, a rare, well, legendary, but a rare legendary AoE defense nuker who really can nuke. So that would be my choice for fave.
Yeah, he's definitely a strong champion, Ignatius. Absolutely.
Who would be your buff?
My worst?
Yeah.
Now this is pretty hard, honestly.
It is.
So
right?
I'm in between a Drogul the Gaunt and a War Mother.
Okay.
So
I'm gonna go War Mother. So sticking with the bottom champions.
I'll go Drogul. Then,
I really want to debate you on Drago, man. So War Mother, I think that again, Bomb needs a buff, and then she would be amazing, right? It's just
pretty
much easy as that. As easy as that. She has not bad multipliers either on her AoEs and 2 AoEs. But Draco, why don't you like Draco, man? Why does nobody like Draco in this game? I think he's a good champion.
Well, the thing is, he's just not working as we thought he would work, right?
Okay.
So, yeah, his A2 is pretty good. 3-turn cooldown, increase attack, increase defense. That's what I got. Like, yay. I actually recommended this fusion. I was like, this champion is going to be great, guys, for progression. That block damage. when allies get low on HP, we can make some sort of unkillable with him. And then we had the passive, right? Places the shield and allies counterattack. I repeat, counterattack when the shield gets broken. Now, I know it didn't specify the removed. We kind of thought it might be a good counter to Madame series for Arena in general. Then a good option for Clan Boss. Now, the shield as well is not happening too often. It's on 4-turn cooldown, so it's pretty hard to fit it in a Clan Boss team. But then the whole idea is the Doom Tower came out, and I was like, okay, here is his moment.
Yeah.
Drogul the Gaunt, right? On the Scrap King, how I'm calling the Scarab King. So I take him in there, and whenever he breaks the shield, my team counterattacks, but then the Scarab King counterattacks me back. So I'm contacting Perium. This must be some sort of glitch, and then they tell me, well, you know, the counterattack from his passive counts as a normal attack, so that's why the Scarab King counterattacks was like, it doesn't count as a normal team because they don't decrease the cooldown of my skills on the rest of the champions, you know? So everything about him just works wrong. It's not how it should be working, you know?
Okay, that's a really good point. So it's not so much what's excuse me.
Not a problem.
So it's not so much that you hate him. It's just you want him to work properly, and it does. You made the point beautifully. I'm not going to really add too much onto it, except for that you're right. If it wasn't a counterattack, then why isn't it taking a turn, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, his base stats are solid too. I mean, very fast, and I love.
Yeah, he's pretty solid. I honestly was hyped about the champion. I said he's definitely going to bring up some different things like increase attack, increase defense at the same time. Will be good for hybrid teams when you're using in clan boss like defensive champions, attack champions. I thought that he would have had some sort of potential, you know.
Mm-hmm. All right, Barbarians up next. Who is your fave? This is a really good faction.
Man, I gotta say, my favorite is definitely Valkyrie. 100%.
Yeah.
She looks badass. Like she's just. I don't need to say it. All the guys will understand it. But she's just that awesome.
Yeah, she was ranked number 2 on my most attractive champions list. So there we go.
She's just badass.
All right,
super unique, like very powerful abilities.
Very good. Have you ever tried her? Do you think it makes sense to put her in reflex gear to just have those never-ending shields? Have you ever tried that?
I never tried because usually when I'm using her in a clan boss team, I need her skill to be on point on the right turn.
Sure.
But if you are running her and relying purely on that, then yeah, definitely it could be a great option. She's a very good answer to speed teams for Arena, for example. Like that passive will cut every speed team with the Sif in there, giving you the upper hand to go before them.
Absolutely. So you go Valkyrie. I will go Scylla the Drakes. I mean, obviously we're already getting her for free. I've talked about this before on the channel, but it's just like, because something is free, sometimes you value it less, and I just think she's such a special champion and one of the best additions to the game, period, because she's accessible to everybody and she's a game changer. I mean, she has a very reliable stun on the A2, and also the revival, you know, and a pretty good heal with the increased speed and damage based on defense, so she stays alive. So I think that one of the most important progression champions, I'm sure everybody uses her, right? Pretty much. Like, I'm sure she's one of the most used champions in the game. Nothing against Valkyrie because, you know, I guess flip a coin for the most part. And because you automatically get Syl for free anyway, of course you would go Valkyrie. But I think that if we didn't get her for free, she would definitely be a high on the most wanted list in the game.
I couldn't agree with you. She's definitely an S tier champion in this game, like top of the top.
Yeah.
For progression, like she's super unique, a very powerful champion. So I don't really think if it's free, she's devaluated for my own opinion. I know that people do think like that, but she's an absolutely beast of a champion. And how we said about your most attractive tier list, she's definitely at the top there as well.
She makes a lot of good looking barbarians apparently. All right.
Absolutely.
So who are you giving a buff to, man?
Buff. So I'm a bit in between here. You see, like Kantrash is decent. Elder Skark, he's decent as well, but I still think I would rework a bit Elder Skark, make him a bit more attractive to be used towards something rather than just okay, I'm gonna use him in Faction Wars because I have him. You know what I mean?
100%. I am in agreement. He's actually the only barbarian, well, the only non-void barbarian that I don't have, but I'm not looking forward to pulling him. Similar to what you said earlier on a champion. I don't think he's like the trashiest champion out there. He's certainly a better than a lot of, or more desirable than a lot of other worse picks, but I agree. I mean, they did give him that buff recently. I forgot what they even did to him, but I feel like he needs still a little bit more of a rework, or maybe he's okay and just will always be kind of a niche champion.
Yeah, probably. I think that might be the whole idea with him. He's not that bad, honestly. Like he does have his own unique abilities. He can do some sort of things for your team, but how you said, he's a bit more niche, the champion.
Yeah,
it's hard to pick somebody else than him to say the worst out of the faction, you know.
Yeah, 100%. All right, so that is barbarians. We blazed through that category pretty quickly. Only 3 left. So Sacred Order, who is your number 1 choice?
Number 1 choice. So I'll have to go with Astrolon.
Oh, wow. Now, okay.
I know, yeah, right? So he's very unique. I know Martyr, she's a very strong champion. She would be probably my second pick out of it. Now, Astrolon is the only AoE champion in the game that has 100% chance to land stun. Stun being the most powerful CC debuff in the entire game, right? So he's the only one that has that AoE on 100% chance. Plus, he hits pretty hard as well. He has his A2 as well, which can randomly revive as well. He has defense down on the A1. Then he has the passive as well with a bit of extra thermometer. Overall, I think he's a badass champion as well from the fusion. Looks badass as well. Pretty good really base stats.
Yeah.
So I would have to go with him. He's honestly an underrated champion. I'm telling you that from now. I've told my guys, I've always been telling them, don't miss on Astrolon. Do the fusion. He's gonna be a very powerful champion.
I wish I could tell you I did the fusion, Skratch. You'll be very disappointed in me. It was one of those. I mean, I could sit here and make excuses, but I just didn't do it. There we go.
I mean, yeah, it's fine.
But
it happens.
Yeah, I regret it. I regret not doing it. Yeah.
I haven't fused Molly, so yeah.
There you go.
I think we can call it even, yeah.
Yeah. I also wasn't Sir Nick the first fusion ever? Or like
I was, and was so easy. Like I actually had a chance to do it, but because my first 3 months I was free to play, right? So not even a single dollar in the game. I was like, I gotta play the game before I decide to spend money again. So I was doing my first 6-star, my executioner, to be my campaign farmer, and he was needed for the fusion, and I was like, no, I don't want to do this. I worked so hard to do this 6-star, you know. So I skipped the fusion, you know, without knowing what am I missing on.
Yeah, I started playing a few months after this fusion, so I was not there available for it. But I'm gonna go with Abyss or Abyss. Is it Abyss? Abyss?
Yeah, Abyss. Yeah.
I love Abyss. I think that she's just top tier nuker in the game. Also has decreased defense on AoE. So, you know, there's more and more of those champions, to your point earlier, that have been added to the game. So she's a little bit less unique in that regard. But man, after her buff, I don't know, 6 months ago or whatever it was, I already had her built out. I already kind of thought she hit hard. She was a little bit underrated before that. So I was surprised they decided to buff her again. And now she's just one of the best damage dealers out there. I use her in all, like, maybe not all, but depending on the level, I'll use her in some alongside Seer sometimes on Doom Tower, just to like clear, because she's really, she hits hard.
Absolutely, she does hit pretty hard. She was my 4th Lego, so I think I opened like 40 Ancient Shards at that time, and I got Xavier in a temple, and the next temple was Abyss. I did build her as well. I used her for a long time. Now, when she got a buff, she actually got her 100% chance to land defense down, and they slightly changed a bit her A3, because how you said you're using her A2 kind of hits pretty much the same with the A3. It always felt the same to me, honestly, but she hits pretty hard. She's a pretty strong champion indeed, yeah.
Yeah, didn't they add the extra 30% crit damage to the A3? Is that what it was, or was that always?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
They changed a bit the way it worked. Yeah.
Got you. Cool. Yeah. So I imagine you don't use her now, though. Do you use like Xavier as like who are your most used nukers that you have?
Well, I'm only using really a couple of nukers. So I'm using Tranda. I'm using what's his name, Candraphone, depending by the team that I'm fighting. But 99% is Tranda, man.
Yeah,
that's why they really
PvE. Do you use like just Seer or like who are?
I'm not really using Seer only for the dragon. I'm using Royal Guards for Ice Golem.
Yeah.
I'm using Septimus for Spider plus Royal Guard. Cold Hearts for the Fire Knight. But I'm not using many of these legendary champions for my dungeon teams, honestly. Like, not many that they're making it up on the list.
Because there's a clear, I agree, there's like a clear best choice. In a lot of them are Royal Guard and Coldheart, you know? So
absolutely
there. So in terms of a buff here, who would you give a buff to? I think I have my choice.
Yeah, so I'm in between two, but I'll have to go with Errol. So
I know.
Error. Error, you know.
Yep.
He can hit pretty hard as well, right? But he's just not bringing any utility at all. So we have plenty of champions in the game that can hit hard, right? Like if I build Kael for damage, he's gonna wreck. He has more utility already, Kael, just as damage dealer because of AoE hits. But he needs to have some AoE attacks. I know he only needs 70 crit rate. He's great for a early game and stuff, but then his only attacks one enemy 3 times. Make his A1 at least to hit 2, 3, 4 times, so he has a use for the Fire Knight or something, you know, rather than just the magic keep for his A3, which nobody really cares, you know.
100%. I agree with you 100% on Errol. I think that, you know, the longer this game is out, the more awesome champions they add. It's champions like Errol who find, like, every new OP damage dealer they add, it's just like, oh yeah, Errol, yay, you know? So totally agree. I'm curious who your second champion was going to be.
Cupidus from here.
Cupidus. Okay, why don't you like Cupidus? I was so surprised by this dude in terms of, like, so how much damage he can put out.
He does have pretty good multipliers. Like, I like he has the A1 AoE, increase attack, but I feel like his A2 should be more towards progression, help with that HP burn for Spider or something. I would honestly make that AoE.
Okay, got you. Yeah, I only run him with Venus, so lucky me, but the Punishing Partner really helps a lot as well, you know, and it's total damage. So, okay, not bad there. I was gonna go Errol as well. You know, Rushguard the Tower is an interesting champion, but I feel like he serves his purpose. Like, I don't use him, I have him, but, you know, I guess I can't really pick another, what I'm trying to say is I can't pick another champion that needs a buff that I think, you know?
Yeah, I think the rest are doing pretty good. This is a very strong faction as well, though. Like, you have everything that you need in here, honestly. It's a very powerful faction.
Yeah, High Elves, I think we might have an easier time picking someone who needs a buff. But first, who is your fave?
So from here, I have to go with Lissandra.
Lissandra.
She has one of the most powerful skills in the entire game. She's so unique compared to the rest of the champions. Like, Yannicka is very powerful as well as a nuker, but Lissandra, she's so unique. Like, you have the speed aura, you have the exhaustion, fully deplete the Termeter on a 3-turn cooldown. Then you have the energize, man. Like, this skill right here makes all the money, right? Increase speed on all allies, fills the Termeter by 30, decreases the Termeter of all enemies by 30. Like, she's the best Termeter control champion in the entire game. My opinion.
Yeah, 100%, man. She definitely changed my account. I want to say more than a lot of, maybe second to Dracomorph, I guess, you know, in terms of what at the time that I pulled her, it's just like, oh wow, now I can easily beat Fire Knight every single time without the Fire Knight ever taking a turn, for example. You
exactly.
know? Very, very, very good champion. Do you think that there'll be less potentially like Arbiter teams out there with Yoshi if Yoshi becomes super meta and being replaced by Lissandra, or am I thinking too much on that?
It could be. The only problem is you'll be missing a reviver like that. I think Yoshi will have a bit of higher potential with the Sifi. I know his speed lead is not the best overall, but will be more to offensive team rather than defensive with Yoshi, you know?
Okay, makes sense. Who would your nerf be? I mean, your buff, excuse me.
My buff. So they are two here. Like, I'm gonna leave Pixniel alone. I know she's bad.
Yeah,
she's bad. But at least she looks good. She makes my vault glowy, right? But then we have Basilius Roanas, right? He doesn't do anything, honestly. Like, he doesn't look good. He doesn't deal damage. He doesn't debuff properly. He's just a waste of space, to say like this.
Yeah, I mean, he does have an AoE stun, 75% chance. Do you think if they just change that to a 3-turn cooldown or 100%, make him the second 100% stun champion in the game, he would be viable, or is that not enough for this champion?
I think he will need to buff a bit the numbers on him as well, you know?
Well, yeah, his multipliers must not be that great because his base attack is all right. Do I even have him? I don't even know. I don't even have him, yeah.
I don't have him, but I tried him, and just the multipliers are pretty bad on him. So if they buff the multipliers on him, I'm all down for it. You know.
I got you.
Yeah.
I would also go Lysandra for my favorite. I think that she's just absolutely incredible. Head and shoulders really above anybody else here. However, I will give a nod to Shiramani because we're talking about not being super redundant here. Really cool champion in the AoE 100% freeze. Talking about, again, a rarity in the game. Landing 100% on a freeze is amazing. So that's great. She also has really good stats kind of across the board. And she has the continuous heal and the heal. So like a very unique support kit with the 3-time hitter and freeze on the A1 as well. So she's really the champion that poor Pixneal isn't in terms of like a reliable freeze champion, even though she should look like Pixneal because that's what she feels like, you know?
Absolutely. She's a very powerful champion though, like super strong. That freeze and the heal you're getting from her, she's just amazing.
Pixneal for me is kind of like, she'll be my choice for looking for a buff, but for me, there's a little bit of Vergamcar going on here too, right? It's just like disappointing, but the Grip of Winter, and I know this is like unpopular thing to say because every time I say this, people are like, she sucks, you know? Don't say anything nice about her. But Grip of Winter is actually like a solid ability, you know? Especially for progression. Increased defense, continuous heal, and then attacks enemies under freeze with the weaken under freeze. I think that the attacking only if they're under freeze and the weaken only if they're under freeze kind of distracts away from the fact that increased defense and continuous heal on 3-turn cooldown is a good ability. You know, it's not game changing, but it's good for progression. And then Icicle Barrage to me just should be an AoE, you know, or a higher
definitely.
chance with the freeze, you know.
Higher chance for sure. But talking about it, she is a very niche champion because you were talking about Shiramani before. Like, if you pair them together, they're gonna be super great, right? You make Shiramani go first, freeze everybody, she's gonna come in with the A2, land that defense down and weaken, and make everyone happy, right? On that 3-turn cooldown. But she's very niche.
Yeah.
So I do think she needs to be a bit less dependable of other champions.
100%. To me, it's just like Icicle Barrage. Just, okay, cool. Like, it would not make her broken or super OP if you just made it, you know, 75% chance even at landing a freeze on an AoE instead of 5 times at random and just kind of changing that ability over. But all right, so we are at the home stretch, my man. It's a long video, but it's been a lot of fun, dude.
I know, right?
We got a Banner Lords. Who's your fave, man?
Man, my fave here is pretty hard because I'm in between two of them, but I'm gonna have to go with Cetalia.
Ooh,
she is again super unique, very powerful champion, and criminally underrated champion.
Okay, I do not own her, but I respect her. But tell us why she's so game changing.
So think about it, a Madame series together with Lysandra. Bringing a kit together. So her A3, for example, removes all buffs from all the enemies. If she removes 5 or more buffs, she decreases the thermometer of all enemies by 20% and boosts the thermometer of all allies by 20%. So she strips, she buffs, that's on a 3-turn cooldown, so less turns than Madame series, and then she has the A2 on 2-turn cooldown, full cleans on an ally, 75% heal on the max HP from the ally, and heals all other allies by 20% of their max HP, and fills their thermometer by 15 if the target is fully healed by this skill. So she's so good for arena, and the just overall progression on 2-turn cooldown to be able to fully heal your team, man, is such a powerful skill. And then we have HP burn on the A1 as well.
Yeah, man, Honestly, I didn't realize that she had the HP burn on her A1 until now. So as someone who doesn't own her, so man, that makes her viable in so many more areas just other than where you're used to seeing her in the arena as well, and in really solid base stats too. So do you use her on any of your arena teams? I imagine you do.
Absolutely. She used to be part of my arena team every day, especially for defense when Madame series had a bad AI, and even now I am using her on specific teams when I'm attacking. I am using her a lot, actually. Okay. I love Cetalia a lot.
All right. Who is your buff?
My buff will have to be Cillian the Unlucky.
I agree.
Honestly.
Yeah, he's
just not doing it. Like, I know he can be decent for faction wars, but is that really enough for you guys when you feel the excitement of pulling a legendary champion? Because a lot of people will judge me on this, saying it, well, he's good for faction war, but is that really enough for you? Is that what you want from a legendary champion? You know, from all that hype, like, yes, I pulled gold, and then you see and you're like, oh, no.
He's going to go right on my Faction Wars team.
Yeah.
I agree
so
with
exciting.
You, dude, I agree with you, and you're totally right, because this is another one of those champions. We mentioned a couple of them this video, that whenever I mention a bad thing about Killian the Lucky, people are like, he's a good champion, Ash, give him a try. And I'm like, dude, I don't think he is.
Bad base stats, like low HP, low speed. He has decent defense for an attack champion, but then single hits, one enemy 2 times, attacks one enemy, 100% chance to place a block cooldown skills. Like, honestly, it's not even unresistible. Like, you need accuracy for it. He's not good for the Fire Knight, not good for any dungeon, not good for progression at all. So honestly, he definitely needs to have a buff here.
Last time I mentioned him, someone was like, dude, his A2 can take someone immediately out of the fight. And it's just like, yeah, but other champions' A2s can just kill them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But, you know.
KL or any starter champion can take the whole team out of the game.
Exactly. All right, so we're going to agree on that one being the buff. My favorite is a champion I don't have, and probably right up there. We mentioned Xavier. I think that probably a tie for my most wanted non-void is Septimus, man. Don't have him, and God, Plarium, give us a 10 times or something, because this is the problem with, you know, it's the worst thing in the world to complain about when you have so many legendaries that you pull so many dupes. But like when you're missing key champions and you're starting to collect more and playing longer and longer, it's like, I feel like I'm never gonna get this guy, you know, because what are the odds, you know? But anyway, I would love to have him. I'm so jealous of everybody on Doom Tower, basically anywhere that they need someone who's gonna deal a lot of damage.
He's a very powerful champion. I'm not sure if you've ever seen it, but I made a team with it like over 1 year ago, one-shotting the Spider, making a bit of use of the Mastery, sparing him with Battle Khazar, leaving a couple of allies to die, and bang, 5.6 million damage, 6 million damage in a single hit from him, and he's such a powerful champion. Insane, actually.
Dude, yeah, I really, really want him bad. So he is my favorite. Needing a buff again, I would give it to Killian. That's the champion that I was going to go for. I guess there's really no second choice for me. I think that a lot of people would probably give a shout out to Lord Champfort, I guess, maybe, or Lugan the Steadfast. I don't know. What do you think of those two guys? Just quick thoughts.
I think they are pretty decent. If for me would be to give another buff, like probably will have to be Lord Champfort. Only that attack down on his AoE is just probably not cutting it. Like, we have better epic champions doing this job, you know. So I think Lord Champfort will be the next one for me.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he has the very unique increase ally HP in dungeons by 50%, so that's kind of cool. Like, to at the very least, like if there's going to be a bad champion, like Errol, for example, might as well give him 50% attack in dungeons or something like that. Like, make it ridiculously high. At least give him some sort of, you know, oh yeah, at least he's got that going for him. But I agree.
Something to stand out.
Yeah, I use these champions in Faction Wars, you know, with great success too. I wasn't like disappointed, but to your point earlier, is that, you know, all you want from a champion? But even if I pulled them on my free to play, I'd be very happy. So I can't really complain too much about these champions. Listen, man, we just hit the 1 hour mark. Thank you so much. I know it's getting late there. Thank you so much for all your time, man. Any shout outs before we let you go? Or are you just gonna?
Man, glad to be here. Appreciate it, and definitely we gotta do the void ones next time. Yeah.
Yeah, the next video is going to be on Skratch's YouTube channel, so make sure, again, you check out that information in the description below now. Perfect time to go subscribe, and you won't regret it. A lot of great content on Skratch's channel. Skratch, thanks again, man. Appreciate you joining me.
Thanks again. Peace out, guys.
Peace out, guys.